Welcome to Face the State. I'm Ariana Bennett. Thank you for joining us. Well, a lot of the income that Northern Nevada sees, of course, comes from attracting tourists to our area. And while individual visitors are great, the real money comes from conventions. Thousands of people who visit en masse to bowl, play volleyball, or plan trips. And you may not realize that there is a dedicated body of people here in the Truckee Meadows who work to bring those big groups here. Now, Bob Lucy, the chair of the Reno Sparks Convention and Visitors Authority, is here now with me to talk about that. Bob, thanks for coming on the show.
Thanks for having me. It's a pleasure to be here.
So in terms of convention bookings, how are we doing right now?
You know, currently as the chair of the RSCVA, things are looking up. You know, over the last year, we've seen a dramatic uptick in our tourism here in Northern Nevada. Things are getting some traction because of that natural organic growth in our economic development. Obviously the Tesla effect has a major impact on that. But people are starting to travel again, and we're excited to be recipients of that.
Now, I know it was a little bit of a blow a few years ago when the Safari Club International decided not to hold its convention here in Reno, staying in Las Vegas. Do you have any update on that?
I do. I mean, we do have some interesting things happening and we have some discussions going on. Nothing is set in stone yet with the Safari Club, but you know, we've kept in touch with them and trying to reinvigorate some of the business that we used to have prior to the recession.
Yeah, I know that was a big one to lose, probably a huge one to get back. Are there any other big fish out there, any big conventions you're really trying to draw to this area?
There's a ton of wonderful large associations that we're trying to attract to the area. And you know, one thing that we have done recently since I become the chair of the RSCVA is we started going back and working towards our strategic plan. And seeing what we needed to do to really attract the new business, and really what was the new business, and what are we looking for in Northern Nevada to try to bring in to fill our facilities. And so with that, there are quite a few associations out there that we're looking at. We're in conversations with them and trying to secure that business, but every day is one day at a time.
So no spoilers?
No spoilers right now.
Okay. Now, as you mentioned, that strategic plan that you guys recently solidified lays out some goals for moving forward. Is it some big changes from what we've seen in the Reno Sparks area?
There's some huge changes, and it's hopefully this is a new day for the RSCVA. I want to basically step back just a brief second. A year ago, what we did was reconfigure the RSCVA board from a 13-member board down to a 9-member board. And that consists of the mayor, myself, and Councilman Ed Lawson, and then 6 other stakeholders through the community. And through that 9-member board, one of the biggest focuses was to look at the strategic plan, where have we been, and where can we go? And with this new effect, and it's changing our brand, what our brand image is to the outside public, and seeing what we really can do with the current assets that we have. So as we move forward into this process, we're really excited that there's a lot going on and a lot for us, and really we're on the precipice of change and taking advantage of some of these new interesting things that are coming down the pipeline for us.
Specifically, what's changing? I mean, what are you guys targeting now?
Well, last year in legislation, what was passed was an increase in the room tax for the outside properties outside of downtown, and an increase by $1 for the properties on the downtown, in the downtown area. And that money was specifically set aside to look for capital improvements and also marketing. And with that, we have, over the years since we've had that in place, we've generated about $4.5 million plus in revenue funds from those room taxes, and we're seeing that steadily grow because of the uptick in travel. With that room charge revenue, we're looking at changing our brand image. We have hired a new marketing firm to help us with that. We are consistently looking at improving our properties so that we can attract some of those bigger conventions that may not have thought of Reno before. Now we'll be able to think of Reno as a true convention destination.
Now, Reno has historically had an image problem, and probably still does depending on who you ask. So how do you go about changing that image?
Perception is always a difficult thing to change. And the best way we can see is changing the actual product in which we provide, and that's our facilities. Our facilities such as the Reno Sparks Convention Reno Sparks Convention Center. We have the National Bowling Stadium downtown, the Reno Event Center, and we also have the Wild Creek Golf Course, which we own and operate. And so through all these different properties, we have some specific uses for them. But what we can do is upgrade these facilities so that the current people that are coming, the current conventions that are traveling to see us, have a wonderful facility, an upgraded facility. But like I said, these new facilities we can update them and bring in, upgraded internet speed, different things of that nature.
So can the public expect to see some construction projects happening?
Yeah, we can expect to see some construction happening at some of our locations, some improvements. We're doing a technical overhaul at the convention center. We're doing improvements at the bowling stadium. We just recently had improvements at the Reno Event Center. We were able to host Carrie Underwood in the round in the middle, and which is very nice for seating and for anybody who's coming to those concerts and those kind of shows. So we have different things now that we can work towards, and so we're excited about getting out, changing the image, changing the perception that we're no longer just a tired old gaming community. We're a new, thriving community for business entrepreneurs, business development, and economic development, and tourism along with that.
Now, I haven't noticed, or maybe this is just my own individual experience, but I feel like I've noticed a lot of bigger names coming in for concerts to Reno. And I know this was also one of the goals in the strategic plan. So more concerts, right? More
concerts. We're striving for more concerts, more sports, different things like that. For example, the new soccer club to the city of Reno, Aces. These all are very much drawing things that draw people to the area. Our concert venues are growing, so we're able to attract bigger talent, and we're seeing people get out and spend money again, which is nice, and buy tickets and participate in these events. And that's really what the ultimate driver is who's going to spend the money and buy the tickets to come.
Yeah, so who are these people? I know in the past we've had a lot of regional drivers, people coming in regionally. Correct. Driving. Is that still the case, or are we kind of trying to get people in from further away?
We're trying to attract, and I think that's an interesting way to approach it, because what we've always kind of thought of ourselves as just the drivable destination market. But now with the Tesla effect and all these different things that are going on within our community, we're seeing some natural growth from outside of those drivable market areas. And so we really are trying to find where people are coming from through market analysis, find out what they're looking for, change the perception, and really, play to those. We have nonstop flights from New York with JetBlue now. We have increased air service with the airport from multiple, single trip flights. So those are some wonderful things that are growing within our region. And what it's allowing us to do is go out and market to these new destination markets that we had never marketed in before.
Now, I saw on the strategic plan also a priority to increase air service. So are you pushing for any new flights to any specific destinations?
We are. We're working on a number of new flights. We're obviously trying to recapture some of the flights that we lost during the recession. We just recently added the Oakland daily flights, so we have 3 Oakland daily flights. We're adding service to LA in a larger capacity. We're working on expanding. We have Atlanta starting later this year. We have a number of different places that we're working on. Baltimore, Minneapolis, different cities and that. So we're actively looking for new routes, and the Airport Authority is doing a wonderful job at that. And what it does is help us at the Convention Visitors Authority to attract some of those bigger conventions like we spoke about earlier.
Now, will all of this kind of naturally get easier as Reno's population grows?
It will, it will, and it's always a constant evolution. It's a very dynamic business. The tourism business changes dramatically from year to year, and we see ourselves as trying to be on the forefront of that as much as we possibly can. So we're working towards making those changes so that we don't get caught in the left behind, so to say.
Yeah, okay, so what's on your wish list? In your time in this position, what do you most want to get accomplished?
Well, I came in at a very interesting time as chair and on the board. With a new revenue, I'd really like to make sure our new brand and really change the brand and the perspective of Northern Nevada and the Reno Tahoe area.
What is the new brand?
Well, we're working on new logos and a new drive, and it's still in development. Like I said, we just hired our new marketing firm that's helping us do that development. But right now, we're looking towards changing that perspective and really reaching out to some of the new generations that are traveling to Northern Nevada. The millennials, the Gen X's, that we might not have captured before, but because of the change of Midtown, because all the events, the balloon races, the hair races, the different things that we offer here, we are drawing that new traveler, that new tourist to the area. People are coming just to come and visit Midtown and go to our craft breweries and see what we have available, and maybe be a brew town of the West Coast. So we're trying to elevate our person and our perception from their way of thinking that had never been approached before. So we're changing the way we're approaching. We're kind of breaking the mold, so to speak.
So are you going to be still pushing gaming or no?
We're always going to be pushing gaming. Gaming is always going to be our anchor, and it's our number one support within our community. And we need to continue to make sure that gaming has that solid footing. We're just trying to add to that base and make sure that more people understand that Reno and the Reno-Tahoe area is evolving and becoming a warm, interesting, exciting place to come and visit.
Okay, Bob, we're out of time, but thank you so much.
Thanks so much.
Really do appreciate having you.
Thanks for having me.
Well, coming up on Face the State, it's not just the Reno-Sparks area pushing for more tourism. Rural Nevada is making its own appeal to visitors. We'll talk about getting tourists outside the main metro areas and why that matters. That's right after the break.